Welcome to the Bad Mom Podcast. I'm your host, Anastasia. Today we have here Axel Kelveen. He is a divorced father and a domestic violence survivor. I I met him during a rally, and we connected on a lot of topics. And he seemed like really interested in my mission for domestic violence and exposing abusers. And little did I know he happens to be a survivor. So he's here to tell his story. And he comes from a small city in Delaware, Ohio. He spent the past 10 years doing investigative research into various topics like spirituality. So we'll talk a lot about healing and how your journey brought you to where you are. And you also study cultural diversity, globalization, and decentralization. Wow. We can touch on those subjects too. He's contributed to many volunteer organizations like Verge cryptocurrency and Ohio Advocates for Medical Freedom. He has an associate of applied science and electronic engineering technology. He's certified in TV, film, acting, modeling through John Casablancas. He's an inventor of the Universal Portable Smart Carseat. Definitely going to talk about that. And it's currently in development. Can't
Sure.
wait to hear about that. He's an aspiring entrepreneur, and I think that's why the universe brought us together, because we're going to make it happen together in this world of entrepreneurs that seem to come into our lives and like enrich them. So I feel your passion, and I'm so excited to hear your story. And you created an organization called Four Winds Media, which aims to become a network hub empowering honest investigative journalists. Sorry, my Russian. New age, next generation content creators. And that's kind of like me and producers, music artists, and the young entrepreneurs trying to get big on social media, really just getting into their talents and expressing it for other people, the strangers of the world. So, you want to combat things like human trafficking and domestic violence. And I can see we're going to become best friends. So you can find him at the Clapper app at Four Winds Media. That's four spelled out FOUR Winds Media, one word. And the website is currently under construction, but we'll check that out. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Axel Kelveen. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my mission and how I feel like you're so perfect for the mission, because we need a lot of people to battle this cycle of abuse from reoccurring. And we have to educate the youth, the public, and you seem to have a lot of experience in it. I'm sure you can share something about your healing journey and how far you've come. Domestic violence is an ongoing issue currently right now during these lockdowns. And we really should do our best to keep the conversation afloat, because there's people in their homes they have nowhere to go. They're stuck in the home with their abusers, whether they're kids, whether they're a male or a female. When you're stuck and on top of each other, it can become an aggressive, potentially violent situation. People are under a lot of stress right now. So, Axel, can you tell your story? I know that you met your abuser when you were 19, you said?
No, I met her before that, really. She was a good friend of mine for a while. We went to the same church, actually. We were both Jehovah's Witnesses, actually, which a lot of people know them as the people that go and knock on doors and whatnot. And yes, we did that. But so, which my experience with that was a very abusive and negative experience as well. Uh,
Tell me more about that.
it was
The
a,
How did
there's a
that
lot
come
of
about?
fear mongering with it. I mean, they believe in that God is Jehovah, and they believe that Jesus is God's son, which is a little bit different than like the Trinity
Hmm.
and other
How
things like
did you
that.
get involved in that?
I was born into it,
Oh,
actually. Yeah. And I they don't celebrate birthdays, and they wear like head coverings, what the women do when they pray and whatnot. And it's very hierarchy. It's very organized. Like when we would go and knock on doors, we would give out specific literature. It'd be the Watchtower and Awake, and we would or the organization's books, but it was the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society is what they're called.
mm.
And
And so,
so
and so you were raised into that kind of lifestyle. Do you still practice that lifestyle?
no, I don't. For me, it was very negative, and I don't want to say, like, some people call it a cult. I don't want to say that. There was no like ritualistic experiences or any sacrifices, anything like that. I know some people used to believe things like that about them because a lot of their churches wouldn't have windows on them in the cities and whatnot. But they didn't do anything like that. They just didn't have windows because they were often targets of arson,
Mm.
because mainly because of the disfellowshipping is basically what it is one of the most toxic things about it. It's very specific on rules that you have to follow, and a lot of it's from the Old Testament. Like you can't have a beard, and they don't do like sex before marriage and things like that. But rather than like, I know how some religions, they tell you what's sinning and whatnot. Well, if you sin, if you make one of those kinds of sins, you're actually disfellowshipped from the organization. You're no longer one of them, and your family is expected to disown you.
That's insane. So, do you still talk to your parents?
I do now. I am disfellowshipped from that organization though, because me and my ex-wife, we had sex before marriage, and so that's what it was for us. And so I was, and
And she
but
was as
basically,
well
there's
as
kind of a culture within the organization of like people that are born with it. Like we a lot of us kind of just did what we want and whatnot. Like you're not supposed to get drunk and stuff. And a lot of people, like especially that, a lot of people will go out and get drunk. And but then you hide it from the elders.
Mhm.
And but if you get caught sinning, then you get disfellowshipped. Your family's expected to disown you, and then you're expected to come back basically and to repent of your sins, and then go through this like year-long process to get reinstated.
I'm sorry.
And
I came from a strict Orthodox religion and I steered so far away from that. It was not that bad though, but I can see that being a factor on like a child.
yeah,
So you were a kid and you went door to door with your parents. That's kind of like a thing that you guys would do.
yeah, it's called going out in service is what they called it. And so we had church 3 days a week to
Mm,
start. Later on they changed it because it is an organization, and they say the light gets brighter, and they change their rules over time
mm.
basically.
Because they want
So yeah, they have a governing body who basically controls the entire thing at the top, and it's a hierarchy, so they pass it down to the
to.
hierarchy, and it goes all the way down to the elders are in control of the specific church or the congregation. They don't call it a church, they call it a kingdom hall.
Mhm. So, and your ex-wife, was she a Jehovah's Witness too?
Yes, she was. We actually met at the church is where we met. We I moved to a different church to get away from some of the drama that I experienced in the previous one. And this new place that I went to in Delaware was where I met her. And I experienced less drama there from the elders and whatnot. Um,
Okay. Well,
because so basically boys are not supposed to associate with girls.
Mm, right. You're supposed to
Pretty
marry.
much. You can talk, but you have to keep it minimal. And otherwise, then they're like, okay, well, you're all gonna get together and have sex.
That's ridiculous.
So I would talk to girls all the time in the congregation. I had a lot of friends that were girls. So
Yeah.
I
Just be
mean, it goes without saying I did not have a good reputation with the elders. So
yeah.
so in every church they have a lot of gossip and whatnot, and so things like that would spread, just stupid lies and stuff.
And so this community, it was like, a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses in a small town, all living together,
Yeah,
or
you basically go to your nearest one, and it's usually they only have one per town usually,
Mm.
but I mean they have usually like one every 20-minute distance, 20-30 minute
in
distance.
Ohio. Okay. I have
Yeah,
no idea if that's common in New Jersey.
they're
I've seen
they're
them
pretty big actually. They're pretty big. And these days with the COVID regulations, I've heard that they've completely shut down all the churches and they've completely switched to Zoom actually.
come.
And then now they go out and service in Zoom. But yes,
Wow.
we attended this thing called ministerial training school where we were taught how to uh, do public speaking, and we were taught every week on things that people would say, because we were supposed to convert people. We were expected to convert people. And so we would be taught rebuttals and things like that. Um,
I
and
see.
then you could become a regular pioneer where you go for like 70 hours a week out in service, like more than a full-time job. And when I was like 16, I ended up doing that because you are expected to either become a regular pioneer as you get older and then become an elder. You're expected to go for those things. Kind of like some parents expect that their kids to go to college and whatnot, which was very highly
Not recommended.
not recommended through the Jehovah's Witness Church. They did not like college at all. And it was all, you
Yeah.
get apprenticeships through the church.
Well, because all the brainwashing they did when you were a child would probably go to waste,
Mm-hmm. Oh, and you're not allowed to associate with anyone outside of the church.
Yeah, of course not.
Only,
'Cause you got other ideas in your
yeah, exactly.
head. That's very interesting. Well, welcome to the show. Uh, that's well, you did
A
tell me
lot to
that,
unpack.
but I guess it kind of slipped my mind. Like when you told me, I was like, I don't know, like because I honestly have no experience with that, and
Mm,
I thought my church was pretty strict, but yeah, Russian Orthodox.
it's
Um,
different.
yeah, it's different, but like I said, we couldn't. It was a thing like I thought was a privilege in America because we couldn't do it where I was from, Kazakhstan, because it wasn't allowed. Like you can't worship Jesus, you can't have any kind of religion. Why bother? So it's like crazy everywhere. So what are you gonna do? Um, so tell me how you met your ex, and if you want to use a name for her that you know you could say my ex the whole time, but yeah,
Okay. Mm,
my baby mama. I call them my abusers because, at the same time, that is what the effect was. But
mm,
at the same time, I'm not still stuck on like, oh, boo hoo, me, poor me. It's just that's what they are. Like people that abuse other people, they're abusers, plain and simple. So if you can stop being an abuser, then more power to you because you're breaking the cycle. But most people can't stop. They're
yeah.
just kind of like addicted to the drama, the stress thing. Yeah, stressing other people out for fun. Cause yeah, that's just all they're used to. That's like they're like drug addicts basically. They want drama in their lives. So tell me about your experience with your baby mama and start from the beginning when you met and when you guys first eloped and broke the rules.
Okay. Well, I was actually friends with her, with my, so my sister was friends with her brother. and his friend, and they were inseparable. They were like brothers, basically. And so my sister gave me a hookup with Gavin, and I ended up uh, becoming good friends with him, and then my other friend, and we ended up going to his house one day, and that's where I met her. She just kind of came down the stairs and hung out with us, and but they went to the Delaware church basically, and I went to the Centerburg. So,
Okay. And
but
when did you guys start, like, dating and stuff?
yeah.
How
So
did
we
that-
were actually friends for a couple of years. I was dating a girl before her named Allie. And so I dated this girl, Allie, for about 4 years. And I was really into this girl. Like, and then her parents moved to Florida. And so she moved with them. And it basically fell apart after there because she got into like drugs and stuff, went to jail because she did not handle the move well. And she basically broke up with me basically just because of the
kind
distance.
of all you do in Florida anyway,
I guess so.
and go to Disney World. Anyways, but yeah, so then what happened? You guys started dating, and was this a secret relationship still?
So we broke up, and then I got with my ex shortly after, probably like a month after that, and we were good friends for a while. And so obviously, like, I was a little interested already anyways. So we got together and we hit it off really well. And I mean, I remember times I would be like, she'd invite me over at night at like 3 in the morning, and I'd come and I'd crawl on her freaking window at her grandparents' house and sneak in. And so we'd spend the night together and whatnot. We do all kinds of crazy late night trips and whatnot. We'd go out and go to the pond and things like that. Like, we were really in love. And it was really beautiful for a really long time. I was with her total almost 9 years, including our marriage. We were married for 5 years.
Mhm.
But basically, what happened is her mom and dad were really into drugs, like opioids.
Even though they were Jehovah's Witnesses?
So her mom and her dad actually weren't, but she was going to the church with her grandparents, and she never got baptized. So Carson never became one.
Mm,
And I was baptized at a young age.
mhm.
So she couldn't be disfellowshipped because she wasn't baptized. I could, because anyways, it was like 9, 10 when I got baptized. So like, what did I know?
Yeah, well, against your will, you don't know anything.
Yeah. So basically, uh yeah, she went with her grandparents, but her mom had really bad fibromyalgia. And with our current medical system, I mean, they just put her on a bunch of opioids. And then she ended up basically just forgetting that she kind of would abuse them anyways, though. I mean, she was licking like fentanyl patches, things like that. And and her dad was doing drugs too, but it was all pills. They were pill heads. And so she would grow up, once she got older, probably like in her teens. They were really good parents at first and did all kinds of stuff with them, but they ended up slacking a lot. Like, there would be times where they would not buy groceries for an entire week, and she'd be starving, and she'd have to go over to her grandparents' house to be fed, or find a friend to feed her. So she had it pretty rough. And then her mom ended up overdosing one day because she forgot that she took a pill. And I don't think she was trying to overdose that day, because she was kind of sick the day before.
Mhm.
And was just, I mean, coughing up all kinds of mucus and stuff and was not there. Because I saw her even, and she was just kind of out of it. So I think it was an accident at that time, but she died from it, and Carson found her. She found her dead, and so that's pretty rough right there. I mean, finding
How old was she when that happened?
black and blue, 14.
14?
Mhm. Yeah, and it was crazy because it was so weird because I was on the phone with her when it happened, when she found her, and she said, I'm very empathic and I pick up on things, and like, it's weird. But so she was just talking about her. We were just having a normal conversation, and she was like, man, my mom's been in the room forever. And then all of a sudden I got this sick feeling in my stomach, and it just radiated through my body. And I was like, oh my God. I said, go check on her. And she went, and she was dead. And so that was pretty crazy. And then, so basically her dad, after that, I mean, that was the love of his life. And I mean, they had marriage problems, bad marriage problems, but they loved each other a lot. And he fell apart after that, and he didn't want to be alive. And he went off the deep end, and he got into heroin and was shooting up heroin. And so she'd come home from school and whatnot, and he'd be sitting on the floor convulsing back and forth and out of his goddamn mind. And so he lost the house and had to move in with his mom, and she had to move in with her grandma with him. And he got better for a little bit, and then they left and got a new house, and he went right back to the heroin. So basically what happened is he got so out of it one time. I mean, he was gone, and it was like every day. So she came and lived with me for about a month straight, and he had no idea she was gone because he was high out of his mind. And then he was not happy
When he found out.
when he realized that she was at my house. Because obviously we were teenagers, and we were doing everything under the sun. And
Yeah.
but
finally realized that he had a daughter again.
yeah, he finally realized he had a daughter, and she was at her boyfriend's house for a month. So he was not happy about that. So basically he came and tried to like attack the shit out of me. And he ended up calling the police and stuff. And we were together several years, but it was like days after I just turned 18. Like we were together, like we were in a relationship for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I like just turned 18, and she's younger than me. So then it's like he was like threatening to press charges and stuff, and it scared the shit out of me. And so I moved to Florida. Plus, like my roommate at the time, I found out my roommate was taking my money and not paying my rent. So I was going to lose my place anyways. I had no idea. And because the landlord showed up just like a couple days before and was like, yeah, you guys are getting evicted. And I was like, what? I thought he was paying you. I gave him my half. So that sucked. So I had nowhere to go. And then my friend Devin came up from Florida, and he offered me a place to stay, and I took it. And especially after her dad was freaking out on me, I was like, I'm not going to jail. So I'm leaving. And so I left, and, so I thought it was going to end after that. And, but I tried to stay with her, and we had a lot of problems, and I ended up cheating on her and stuff when I was in Florida. And, but I came back for her.
But you left. So
Yeah. Yeah. But, her dad called me one day, and he told me that I could come back. he said, I want you to come back. He said, I've decided you can be with my daughter. He said, you're a good man, and I want you to take care of her. And I came back, and he died 2 weeks later. Yeah.
Here's my problem. Take it over.
So she's that's where it comes from. Right there. And so our relationship after that, I mean, we got married, and it was just kind of like I was dealing with, I mean, she lost both her parents. She was an orphan. And so that's what I chucked it up to was like, I ignored and I made excuses for all of her behavior. And and I just tried to protect her basically, and put up with it. And I'm like, no one else is gonna put up with this. I'll put up with it. It's fine. I love her, and we'll be fine. We'll make it. We'll get help. We'll figure it out. And I was wrong. And so basically later on, it just got worse and worse and worse. And I realized that I was dealing with narcissistic personality disorder. Because she could never let go of me cheating on her, even after we were married. And I was faithful to her. I mean, we were married for 5 years. And, I knew she had very controlling traits. And it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And, and then I realized that, that I started to go through the phases. And
I'm sorry.
I told you about my spiritual experience that kind of helped me awaken from the manipulation that I was experiencing.
Yeah.
And
why don't you just dive into that real quick? Because that's your aha moment, right?
Yeah. So at my worst point, I was being criticized so much about everything and anything, and pushed to my absolute limits, and made to feel absolutely worthless about myself. And I believed that I was worthless. And I idolized this woman. She was a god to me. And I lost a lot of people because of the traits I started exhibiting, where I started to isolate myself. And at a point, I think for a while there, I was mute almost, because of how deeply my just distaste and like disgust with myself was. I couldn't speak. And so, I got to a point to where it was just absolutely awkward to be around me for anybody. And when you're at that point, a lot of people, they don't think about what you're going through. And I don't think people really even knew, but they they think you're stupid. And that kind of helps affirm those feelings even more. The more people just feel awkward around you and just look down on you because of the way you're acting, but you can't help it. And so I had a spiritual awakening, though, as I started experiencing numerology, which is crazy because I'd never experienced anything like that in my entire life. And so I started seeing the number 1111 on clocks. And I didn't think anything of it at first, but I started seeing it more and more and more and more. And then it was like every day. And then it got to the point to where I thought I was losing my goddamn mind.
Oh my gosh.
I thought I
Yeah.
was losing my freaking mind, and it scared the shit out of me because it got to a point where it was so much. I was like, this is not coincidence. This is weird. And but basically what happened is these numbers started making me do things. They started guiding me. And where it led me to was spiritual mentors. And where it also led me to was so basically I basically realized over time that this was like a spirit guide, or what I call now, I call it my higher self or God.
Mm-hmm.
And it was guiding me and it was helping me out of this situation. And it guided me to these articles. And I can't remember exactly how I came across them, but I knew that it was this number that would show up at certain times when I would think a certain thing,
Mm.
or I would be in a specific situation and I'd hear something and then I'd see those numbers and I'd be like, what did I just hear? Or what did I just think? And then I'd look into it. And so it helped me realize that I was experiencing narcissistic abuse.
That's crazy.
And I started seeing these spiritual mentors and they helped me go through it. And they talked about ascension, how you go through this dark night of a soul where your entire reality is shattered and your sense of identity is shattered. And the Catholics and the Christians talk about it sometimes, about born again. They hear that, and I think that that's what that means, is when they refer that to that into the Bible, is going through a spiritual awakening. And it's like a rebirth of your soul, because I truly feel like I got to such a low point to where I feel like I died and was reborn. But what I started realizing as I was going through these phases and I was experiencing this type of manipulation, like for narcissistic abuse, you go through a couple different phases. You go through the idealization phase, sorry. And so this would be like, for a period of time, she would tell me, oh, I love you so much. And she'd write me sweet notes and she'd be cooking for me and she'd do all these kinds of favors for me and but really just butter me up. And I'm like, damn, this is the best woman on earth. Like, I love this woman. And then she would do that for a period of time. And then it would go on to the devaluation phase, when I was completely drawn in, when I was completely just awestruck.
Built up, built up, built
Yeah. Oh
up.
yeah. Just
Oh, you're the best. And then
yeah.
fuck you, like, yeah.
And then the manipulation would start. And it would be, so I mean, the manipulation is so broad, it's ridiculous. It would be like, so she made me think that I had a bad memory. And that's why I was feeling so worthless when I got to my lowest point, is like, this is how this woman made me feel. She would tell me how shitty of a person I was. And she would criticize my driving. She'd criticize the way, like the directions that I took to get to everything. It'd be like I'd be going to the store and she'd be like, what are you doing? And I'd be like, what do you mean? She'd be like, why are you going this way? What's your problem? Are you stupid? And I'd be like, why are you treating me this way? And she'd be like, you need to go. I'll just tell you how to go there. Go left, go right, go left, go right. This is how you get here. This is the fastest way. You're retarded. And it'd be like stuff like that. But it'd be like, it wouldn't be just that. It would be, she would find at least probably like 20 things every single day to
Mm.
get on me about. And then you go through, you get to a point to where you go through that devaluation phase, and then you get so fed up with being treated like shit. And so you'd start to stand up for yourself, and you'd be like, why are you treating me this way? And you'd be like, or you like sit down and you try to talk about it. And then it would be just shifting the blame on you. And then it'd be like words, they call it word salad, where she just go off into this rant about something that happened 10 years ago
And
or
how
5
she's
years
the
ago,
victim.
and how she's the victim. Yes.
Oh my God. Wow. True narcissism. I think I experienced this at some point in my life. Oh man. All right. Look out for my book. It's coming out soon. Continue. And how did that make you wait, how long do you think it took you to get to that standing up for yourself phase? Because the dark place, that's like a really long phase, in my opinion.
I did not even realize that I was
In
the
that phase or
I
being
thought she
abused.
was controlling.
Mm. That's what you
And
thought
that's
controlling was.
yeah, I was like, you're just controlling. And I was like, it pisses me off. In my mind, I'm like, I'm a happily married man and I hate myself. And
I don't know.
uh and my wife is just controlling sometimes, and it really pisses me off.
Nothing I do makes her happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
I'm
Uh
addicted to misery, and how do I live like this? Misery.
I think I actually like I got to a point to where like I was content with being miserable.
Yeah. Would you like completely avoid her if she like came home? You'd be like, oh, let me hide in my room, and like I'd rather like be under my covers than even see your fucking face.
Oh,
Like,
there definitely would be times. There would be times, and I couldn't do this because I'd get in trouble. But there would be times that I would come home from work and I would sit in my car for 10 minutes, scared to death to come inside.
right, because you don't know what bullshit you're about to walk into, what shitstorm
Yeah.
is
Well,
about to.
yeah, exactly. As soon as you walk in the house, look at these dishes. You need to clean these dishes or some, and then it'd be like screaming, and it'd be like, let me call.
Yeah, it's like, oh look, somebody take my complete anger out on that like I built up all day because I hate myself. That's really where it is. She hates herself, that she makes you want to hate yourself. And like, yeah, narcissists are fucked up people. But let's not make excuses for them because you can always choose to be a better person and not a piece of shit
Yeah.
at the end of the day. But do you think it's a thing that people can break through? Do you think? Do you think she could change? I don't really know. I'm not a psychiatrist. I
I
can't
don't
wait
know.
to get a doctor on the show to
I
tell me
don't know.
how to
I've
break
done
through.
deep research into it, and they say that you need so much therapy, and because it comes down to, it's like
Wired.
they need narcissistic supply. So they actually thrive on feeling like a victim, and they
Parasite.
thrive on feeling superior to you, and they love at it like a core level. They absolutely love you being below them.
Like a mosquito
Mm-hmm.
sucking your blood. Okay.
And but yeah, after the devaluation phase is the discard phase, and then so like there'd be these
All right.
periods. It'd be like after after I got treated like so much shit and I stood up for myself, it'd be like after you stand up for yourself, then you're done. Like
Yeah,
done. Then
exactly.
it's like throwing fucking
Bye.
pictures on the wall, busting shit, and then it's like I'm leaving, and then fucking she's gone. And then she takes a walk and she's gone for like 30 fucking minutes. And I find her in the rain crying.
Mm.
And I had to search for her for 2 hours, and
Wow, you're such a
she's
nice.
bawling her eyes out. And I'm like, honey, like, come in the car. It's gonna be okay. Blah, 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 blah,
You're
blah. And then
a
I'm back in the
solid soul.
cycle again.
Yep.
And right after that, oh my gosh, you're the best husband ever, blah, 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 blah. And it just goes over and over and over.
Yeah, it's great. They love it so much, these narcissists. They love it so much. It's like a sick game, and they have no idea how fucked up they are. And it's just hilarious,
No.
actually. It's
And you
hilarious.
can't bring it up because they'll be like, I'm fine, I'm perfect. And they idealize themselves so much. It's
She
like, I
would
mean, she
never
thinks
say
she's the
sorry,
best at
right?
everything.
Would she ever say sorry?
Oh no, never. Not
Oh, of course,
once.
narcissists never say sorry.
No, but she will say that I never say sorry.
Right, but that's bullshit because you would always be the first one to lend a hand and say, "Hey, honey, come in the car."
I'd always be like, look, I'm trying the best I can. I'm sorry. Like
I'm sorry, I'm not the
I'll
perfect
try to do better. I
person.
really will. Like
It's really deep rooted hate for themselves in their heart, and I feel so sorry for you, narcissists. Really, you all need some mental help. But actually, wait, I don't feel sorry for you at all. You did. You chose this life. You could have chosen love. Actually, back to love. Just a curiosity question. Jehovah's Witnesses, since I know nothing about them other than like they're weird. Sorry, no offense. Um, when your religion was like preaching things, was love a big basis of it or no? Because I feel like when you take away birthdays and holidays and any kind of recognition and like you also take away love because now you're making one person feel more special than the other, right?
they preached love, but they taught judgment.
Right. Because you're not allowed to do certain things that makes you a bad person. Okay. Because I was
Mhm.
gonna say, how does this even work? Because the Bible preaches love for the most part. Yeah, there's some brutal stuff in there, but for the most part, you overcome things through
Most of
love.
it, I mean, that's why I left is because a lot of it was just it's just you're constantly being judged, constantly, and I couldn't take it. And it's like,
Comparison.
and then you're and it's fear tactics. So it's always you better not sin or you're gonna die in Armageddon.
Yeah.
God
What a load
destroys
of
the
shit.
world.
What a load of shit. But
So
yeah, I hope you don't feel like that. And your spiritual journey, has that helped you overcome and heal throughout? Like, how did you break away and like talk about like your daughter? We also might have to do a part two. Talk about how like you where did the child come in? Like, when did this all happen? Like
I
after
mean,
after her father died, you guys had a
we
kid?
well we the majority of the abuse, honestly, well, I mean, I don't know. I can't say most of it began after her. I mean,
I
it
just don't
it
understand
it
where
was definitely worse.
your daughter was. She in the midst of all this crazy stuff and she just watched it happen, like
She was young
politics
though. I
and
mean,
shit.
so we had her. She's only 5 now, and I just got divorced finally, and it's finalized.
Congratulations.
And but I mean, she left. She took off 2 years ago, and so my daughter was 3 years old when she took off,
With her.
and actually, when she took off, and so she made up the story that I was beating her. She'd go into the
Oh,
bathroom.
no way. Oh,
She'd go
wow.
into the bathroom. She would beat herself up and she would take pictures.
Wow.
And she convinced everybody that I was beating her. And I had no idea.
Wow. I see.
I had I
That's
had and that's the thing that narcissists do is they'll run these smear campaigns against you and you'll have no fucking idea what's going on. And I realized looking back, I'll be like, she would tell me that she would be like, your friends hate you. And she'd be like, this is what they said to me. I'm on your team. And you know what I mean? And she'd do that. And I would believe, I'd be like, wow, my friends hate me.
Wow. I'm a piece of
And but so it'd be like, oh my God, like you would get
a
so
mind fuck.
mind fucked.
Yeah.
And I had no idea.
Oh, God.
And then when I realized I mean, it was too late. I mean, having a gang of family members coming at you and like being like, look, you need therapy and like, what are you doing? And like, you
Yeah.
need, and so they would encourage her to like run away with my daughter. And so she left. And there was 3 times where she was gone for a month and I couldn't see my daughter. And there was
What a piece of shit.
yeah.
Wow.
And
Put your
so
kid through
when
that.
she left, So she made sure she knew she was going to leave me for about a year. And that's why she started lying about that. She was in the discard phase and she wanted to look like the good guy.
Of course.
So,
It's like a common thing.
yeah.
Mm.
So, I mean, this dude she got with, like, she had this dude come in my house. Dude broke in my house one day, tried to fucking strangle the shit out of me.
A dude that she banged and
I'm
cheated.
in my goddamn house. Dude fucking comes in my house.
What a manipulating.
And that's a whole nother story. Like that, I mean,
She cheated on you, manipulated the dude that she cheated on you with to say that you beat her. Wow. And then he
then
kicked your ass. Like, wow, what a drama queen.
and then when she left with him, she told everybody that she was seeing my daughter. Well, she'd come to see her for a little bit, for like 2 days a week, for 4 months straight.
What is she doing the rest of the time? Does she have a
She
job?
was hanging out with that guy.
Does she
And, huh?
did she work? Like, what was this person doing with her life?
I don't think she was working. I mean,
How does this baby get fed in her arms? Like, she got money from her parents. I just
so,
try
I
to
mean, she was,
function as an adult.
when our daughter was first born, I mean, she was such a good mother and she would, she did a natural birth and she would breastfeed her and everything. And then it was just like something snapped. And it was like, as far as like a mother, like, I mean, she was a fantastic mother. And I still think she's a fantastic mother in certain aspects. Now when she left for 4 months with this guy.
Very nice.
And she'd come and she'd see her like 2 days a week. And I'd be like, look, this is not good enough. This is not fucking good enough. And so I really pushed for it for her to come and see her evenly and whatnot. And so she ended up stepping up. And it sucks for me because I see my daughter every other week. So I don't like that. I wish I could see her every day. But I figure she needs her mom just as much as she needs me.
Oh my God, you are so cute when you say things like that. Narcissists don't think like that. No, they don't. They don't. They only think about themselves. But I'm glad she stepped up.
But
How do you think your daughter deals with all this? She seems like a really cute kid, super resilient.
she's a lot better than what it was. And so my daughter, she'll hide how she feels about it because I think that she tries to stay strong for me. And I think that that was probably my fault because, when she took off, I was devastated.
Mm.
And, and I took care of my daughter and I fed her and whatnot. But, I was going in the other room and bawling my eyes out and shit. And she knew.
So hard.
And my daughter was a sweetheart through the whole thing. And, I did what I could and, try to get her to talk about it and whatnot. And, there would be times where she would say, I wish you two were back together and things like that. And, but she doesn't open up a whole lot about it. And she tries to stay strong. And I've realized like that's how she's dealing with it is she tries to put a smile on her face and deal with it. But I see how she deals with it at times when like when like the kinds of cartoons she'll look for like these dark anime cartoons and things like that. And she'll get this sad look on her face. And that's when I know, okay, she's probably reminiscing the past and is having a hard time dealing with it. And so that's how I'll know, like, to try to give her some extra attention and to try again to talk about it. But overall, though, I mean, I think she's adjusted well.
I think she's so cute.
Mhm. But she's a tough girl. She is. And she's really smart. She's got good grades in school. And I mean, she can count to she's 5 years old. She can count to 100. She can do addition and subtraction.
Good.
It won't be long before she knows multiplication.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
She's great.
Well,
But
do you have any regrets? How do you feel right now? How many years away from this abuser has it been?
well, I've been away from her for 2 years now. But the first year was hard. And when you're with somebody that long, it's like I think you get a sort of a codependent kind of
Yeah.
energy. And so being alone was really hard for me. And but I ended up finding, me and this one girl got together and we kind of just had more of a business kind of relationship. And I was like, look, I need help with my daughter. And like this one girl, she was trying to get out of the military. She didn't want to, she was in military school and she's like, I don't want to do this. So we kind of helped each other, and she was in like a toxic situation. And so we became good friends. We're still friends today. We talk and whatnot, but we didn't really hit it off. So,
Yeah. She
but
was as much as you needed her to, I guess.
yeah,
That's good.
but no, I mean, I've been single for like a year now, and it's been great because the past year my mental state has gone way up. And like I said, and those numbers were guiding me to it. It woke me up from everything that I was dealing with, and I went through that pain. But I had great spiritual teachers like Ralph Smart. He's really good, and Victor Odo, and they really helped me through a lot. And helped me recognize what type of person I am, and what I can be.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say regarding how you think your daughter's 5 now, right? So there's a big chance that she could suffer long-term, you know, trauma from this separation, whatever, everything that she witnessed,
This is all new to me.
yeah.
And
So just be aware of that, and I really wish you well. Like I really hope that she has someone to talk to that's other than you about things. Maybe you should look into that. But they do have a lot of groups for kids, um, you know, in your local community. At least they do in mine. So I would definitely like look into some kind of big brother, big sister program, or like an old home nursing homes. They do things like that where they
yeah.
have the kids come in, they do like crafts together, and it's really interesting to
Oh,
like
I definitely make sure that I get her
she's in
out
Girl
and
Scouts. Yeah.
associate with other kids and whatnot. We do all kinds of things together like that.
That's
And
awesome.
she did just join the Girl Scouts. I think that'll be really good for her being on a team like that.
Yeah, definitely. She's 5, right? What's her name?
Marley.
Marley.
Yeah,
Oh,
like Bob Marley.
cute. Cute. Um, do you have anything to say for anybody going through domestic violence right now, whether they're a man or a woman? Anything, any kind of words of encouragement? Um, yeah, I mean, I really appreciate you sharing your story. I really do. That's hard. Um, uh, do you think we
Yeah.
can help? But do you think we can make a difference and change things?
Yeah, I think so. And I think a lot of it has to do with, I think that one of the biggest things that helped me is just being able to identify it.
Hmm.
And that information is out there.
Red flags,
If we
boundaries.
can make it more readily accessible, that would benefit a lot. But I mean, if someone is experiencing domestic violence in their home, I mean, I just say, like, think about your children and protect them. And if they're experiencing violence, or if that violence is increased when if you and that person are together, if you're separate, if it's better, that's probably the best situation you can do. And you gotta forget your feelings, and you gotta think about your children and protect them. And just know that you are a divine, beautiful being, and you should never allow anyone to take that energy away from you and to make you feel like you're less than nothing. God didn't create you as nothing. He created you as this intelligent, beautiful, creative being that you are. And you are special in your own way. And anybody that can't see that, and anybody that wants to look down on you, is not in your best interests and is not good for your life. You need to surround yourself with people who support your growth, and do so with, if they criticize you, constructive criticism.
Not
You
putting
know,
it down.
not putting you down and discarding you and playing with your head. It's very toxic, and that will bring you to a point in your life that you do not want to be in. You never want to go there. And good luck getting out,
Yeah. Good luck.
because it takes a long time. So
To learn how to live alone, to
yeah,
learn how to be by yourself, to learn how to, do everything yourself, even though you were
and
doing
to
it.
change your mindset, just to do that, just to build your self-esteem back, takes so much work.
Took me a long time.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I'm so strong right now. I literally want to help everybody. So I'm so excited to have you on board with this
Yeah.
mission. This is awesome. I'm so I don't know. I kind of want to end it in a prayer for anyone who's experiencing domestic violence. If you want to, you can, but like I'm gonna say something. I don't
Okay.
usually do this, but I started doing it more because I do pray for everyone who's in a domestic violence situation. Dear God, please keep everybody that is in a domestic violence situation, keep their energy safe from harm. Just give them strength, give them just our love, people who have survived. We're sending all our good vibes, all our strength, because we really feel for these people, whether they're children, if they are more so, because they didn't choose this, they didn't deserve that. I pray for everyone to understand that their self worth is not determined by their partner. Their self worth is not determined by their parents or anyone around them but themselves. So please, God, give them that strength to decide for themselves who they are and who they want to be, and give them that support that maybe they never seen before. Give them that from you, because that's that's literally how I feel like I've been ultra saved. So thank you, God, for bringing us this far in our lives of survival, and we're no longer victims. Thank you so much for making us see that we're not victims, we're survivors. Thank you for giving us the strength to move on our own and help other people. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. And I'm sure you'll be back on the podcast.
Oh yeah, we'll have to do it again.
We
There's
have to
so
do
much
it.
more we can talk about.
We could talk about way more things. I'm really excited to hear. Actually, do you want to say something about your mission with Four Winds Media, or where people can
Yeah.
find you?
So Four Winds Media, I want to get a network of new age spiritualists and like next generation content creators and honest investigative journalists. We don't see enough of that today. We see a lot of media manipulation. But I've been trying this kind of new method where I go and I interview people and I ask them questions and I try to extract what their viewpoint is. And it's that organic essence of the interview that I truly love and that is truly going to get the viewpoint of the public as a whole. If we just listen to people rather than kind of project our own viewpoint onto them,
Make assumptions.
yeah, that's true. That's true journalism. And that's what we need. That's what we need to bring back to this country. And that's what I want to bring back. So I'm building Four Winds Media so I can build an organization that will empower honest investigative journalists, content creators, music artists, and producers. We want to go full scale. We want to be the next Hollywood and raise funds to make movies, make films, documentaries, and be able to pay investigative journalists to go out and be honest reporters. And we want to raise charities to fight things like domestic violence, as well as like human trafficking and things like that.
Yes.
So
There's a lot of lost kids due to human trafficking that were victims of domestic violence. Turning the wrong way, going the wrong way, running away, all that stuff. So that is a huge deal to me for my organization, No Bad Kids. So I'm so excited to work with you and thank you so much for coming on the show. If anybody wants to reach out to me at the Bad Mom Podcast at gmail.com, if you want to be interviewed, if you would like to collaborate, if you have an alternative viewpoint and you would like to talk about it, your own experience, there's something you disagree with, I'm all about an honest conversation, a raw conversation. We're always unscripted. We try and bring authenticity to this really touchy subject and hopefully be the voice for change. Thank you. And subscribe, like, and share. Thank you. Bye.